That's right, Lance, 42 years.
How come? What is it?
Well, it's the old saying, but if you like what you're doing, it's really not work. So I've enjoyed every day.
What do you like about it?
Well, every day is different. In the police work, I like the people I work, always like the people I worked with. And, you rally together in bad times and get the job done. It's a great feeling.
What are you going to miss on Monday?
Well, I've been on a schedule for 42 years. I guess this is the first time in my life I'm not reporting for duty somewhere, at least for a good portion of my life. So I don't know. I'll probably miss the routine, but I think I'll get over that pretty quick.
Afternoon, everyone. Today is the day we walk this young fellow out.
Yes, young.
I'd like to welcome everyone. The elected officials, dignitaries, there's just too many to name today, otherwise I would. So I want to thank the Hudson Fire Department for their unwavering support for what they do for us on a consistent basis. Also want to thank Deb, Neely, Dee Dee, and anyone else who had a hand in helping make this happen today. We appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to bring up one of HPD's biggest supporters, Mayor Kamal Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by thanking the chief for his 10 years of service. It's funny because he gets all embarrassed about this stuff, so I love it. I remember when he first started and he was going around and meeting the community, and he had an event at the Basilica. And I remember being in that crowd and asking him a question 10 years ago about policing, and at the time I didn't know I was going to be mayor, and he didn't know this young man questioning him in the audience was going to be mayor. So when I took office, the chief welcomed me with open arms. We did a lot of lively conversations about policing. I think I didn't know what to expect, and he didn't know what to expect, but I was glad that during my tenure I was able to serve with the chief. He's been the epitome of professional, and I've been very proud of what we've been able to accomplish during his time as chief for the department. I also want to say, I know that you've been in policing for a long time, so I've done the due diligence of thinking of some outside careers for you instead of security and different things like that. But I know that Jeff Ye is kind of one of your biggest supporters.
That's right.
I know he's off the grid for a little bit, so I was thinking about maybe start your day with Ed.
Yeah, that's right. Let's have it.
Also, there's a gentleman who also has a blog around town. He's also one of your biggest supporters.
I think he likes me better.
You guys know him as Bill. If you don't, somebody will tell you on the ride home about him. But I was thinking about being his personal assistant.
Yeah. I am.
And lastly, there's a comment on one of the local blogs about my fashion, and I was wondering if I could take you in as a fashion coach for me.
As long as it's a human.
to really take it to the future. Mix it up a little.
Yeah.
So I want to, thank the chief again. This is, a bittersweet moment for you. I apologize to your family for sending you back to them long term. But thank you again, chief, and I look forward to, your future.
Thank you, Mayor. And we have to keep it moving because Chief's getting a little
Dry.
cranky with being out here in front of everybody.
Parched.
Next up, Lieutenant, soon-to-be Chief, Rashonda Franklin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here to honor Chief Moore on his last day here at HPD.
Overshoot this.
I'll keep it brief because I know there are many people here who want to speak, including himself, and he doesn't want to be here all day, so I'm just going to move it along. Words can't truly express the gratitude that I have for Chief Moore. Today is both a sad day and also a joyful day for me, the HPD membership, and the community. Over the past 10 years, which I would describe as some of the most challenging and impactful times in my career and personal life, I've been blessed to be mentored by Chief Moore. By way of fairness, compassion, and selfless devotion in everything, he's provided not only me, but all of us here today, as seen by how many of you are here, with the leadership and friendship we didn't know we needed. Recently, I asked Chief Moore how he's managed his 42-year career when decisions he's made have been questioned or misunderstood. He said, "There are mistakes of the mind and there are mistakes of the heart. If you thought things through and make the decision with your heart, you've made the right decision and everyone will eventually understand." I can say that Chief Moore lives by this, and I express my sincerest appreciation for all that he has taught me and all that I have learned from him just from leading by example. Thank you, and congratulations, Chief Moore. I'll miss you.
Thank you, Shana. Next up, DA Paul Trejka. This should be good.
Thank you, Commissioner. So, some of you may think that I'm here because I currently have a job that I haven't been able to keep over the years. Some of you may think that I'm here because I have a certain job involving law enforcement that I haven't been able to keep over the years. That is far from the truth. I am here because I am the one person in the universe that has known both L. Edward Moore and Mrs. Diane Banks Moore since they were born. Mrs. Moore was born when she lived above a certain grocery store in Claremont City. She's here today with her big sister Cindy, who was born in Africa, of all places. L. Edward Moore was born in the hospital, as was Diane, but was born in the
Actual
hospital.
hospital.
Yeah. But his family lived in Livingston City, about 150 yards from my family farm. And L. Edward Moore, he used to call himself, he'd walk around, he said, L. Edward Moore, call me Eddie. He used to follow my Polish grandfather and my Sicilian uncle around the farm. Imagine the language barriers. Well, it didn't bother the chief in the least, because he knew a couple phrases of Ukrainian.
Swear words.
That helped him a lot with my Sicilian uncle and my Polish grandfather, but he had followed him around all the time. And, but that's how it was he learned how to walk the beat. Well, having grown up a couple hundred yards away, when he applied to become a New York State trooper, the state police assigned someone to do his background check. In doing so, then Senior Investigator R.T. Brenzel, still Investigator R.T. Brenzel, who knows more about the Hudson Police, the City of Hudson, and L. Edward more than anybody. Notwithstanding the fact that he did that background check, he let him in the state police anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for lying.
Senior Investigator Brenzel, who is here today, I think with more retired state police officers than Hudson police officers. Senior Investigator Brenzel, Senior Investigator Nesbitt. Who else is back there?
I can't believe they brought out all these old fossils there. Colby just retired. My senior man, Dennis Callahan, taught me everything about troopers. My night partner, Rocky's hiding back there. Of course, Gary Mazzacano, and did I miss any retired guys? Fred, and who? Oh God, look who's hiding there. Hello, how are you, Robin? Thanks for being here. Anyway, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Yes, Colonel Benziger drove from Buffalo to make sure you're really quitting.
Right?
She of course had her sister-in-law spy on you and keep you in line for the last 2 years.
Retired dead. Where is she?
Where is
Oh, right here. I'm sorry. Real observant. Yeah.
So anyway, folks, Chief Moore, I think we will all agree, has done as much, if not more, for the City of Hudson and the Hudson Police Department than anybody. He has brought a sense of professionalism, pride, and integrity that is unparalleled in any police department, all as a result of the chief's dedication to his job, to his city, and to his officers. I'm prejudiced, of course, because we grew up together. His big brother was my best friend ever. And as I say, I've known his... Hey, Paul! Hey! Use the microphone! Shut up, Nesbitt! Folks, also here today are some other policemen who are active. One is a man by the name of Investigator Michael Moore. Raise your hand, Investigator. Sergeant Moore, Sergeant John Moore, and the youngest Moore, who Amanda tells me is the only normal one because he's not a policeman, Brian. That's right. So folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring the person who I believe deserves honor like no one else. Thank you, Chief.
Oh, everything. L. Edward and everything. Good. Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops, my glasses.
So the chief wants to go last, so I'm going to see, does anybody want to come up and say anything quickly for the chief? Anyone? Everybody chickened out?
I got plenty to say.
All right,
I got
I'll say
plenty.
mine then.
Oh, geez, okay.
The chief has asked me to keep this short. Honestly, he's been quite the diva about it the last couple days. He thought for some reason yesterday I was taking him for a ride to put him out to pasture. His exact words were, well, I got in the car with an Irishman. I thought you were taking me to a gravel pit, and that was the end. Anyway, Chief, I appreciate you. Appreciate your patience, thoughtfulness, to put up with a bunch of young hammers full of piss and vinegar like myself. Especially when there's 20 plus more of us standing right behind me. From day one, you came in and provided us with the support and consistency that a true leader does. I know you came here, it was a bit of a culture shock for you. HPD is a completely different animal than the state police. But after 10 years of navigating this ship, I consider you one of us. You are an old, salty HPD veteran. That title is not something you should take lightly. Over the 200 plus years of HPD, there are not many that can share this title with you. Today, you share this day with your extended law enforcement family, which is huge. Your family, your beautiful wife, your amazing sons. All of us here are proud of you and your years of service. We love you, big guy. You're gonna be sorely missed. Thank you for being the man that you are.
If I could get my family up here, stand behind me in case I can't make it through, I guess. Diane, don't start now. I'm not even looking at you. Come over here. I tell you, I'm going to make this pretty brief because you all have been patient, but you look at all these people, it's very humbling. I think a lot of it was folks wanted to make sure I was actually leaving, and the other half were trying to get parking tickets fixed. So, not that I would do that, but it's humbling to stand up here and see all these people, so many in my current time and my past, and it's quite emotional for me. And Pete Manahan, I saw him over there, he's retired too. I missed you, Pete. I want to talk first about my family. They're behind me here, which my wife has been with me this whole journey. You know, my family is getting smaller and smaller, and with the addition of these beautiful women in my life, my family is finally getting bigger. And I take such comfort in that and happiness. You can't make it through this law enforcement job without support. And I also had support going way back to my parents, who were good people. And they instilled in me values, faith in God, and I was blessed with the ability to get through it all with good moral underpinning, which is what you need in this job. I'll talk a little bit first about our mayor. Where did he go? Is he still here? Okay.
Good view of you.
I got a lot of respect for Mayor Johnson. Not only, when I've talked about this before, he came through at a very turbulent time in our city, and he's handled it well. I've never seen him get mad or angry, and he handles it with great aplomb and professionalism. He's always been kind to this department, negotiating contracts for our hard workers, and I wish him the best, as all our elected officials. And I see Tom back there, and Michael, and everyone giving up their time and sweat to make it all work in this city. I wanted to give a quick story which does correlate to the mayor and our elected officials. My grandfather was a Ukrainian immigrant and lived in the city. They moved around to different apartments that they could afford. He was a coal miner, and he married my grandmother, Tessie Kolela Haiduk, and they were immigrants. And I'm sure that when they moved into the neighborhood, everyone didn't say, "Great, the Tchaikovskys are here," you know? But somehow they made it, and that was just a generation ago. And what it tells you is here in this city and in our country that you can advance yourself, and you can. It's the American way. that we protect as police officers, but that's what makes our country great. And I admire the mayor and our elected officials that are trying to keep a piece of that here in Hudson, where folks who lived here can still live here, sustain, get a job, and achieve that American dream. So I admire what direction you're pointing us, Mayor, and it's important that we don't lose our community, that we keep our community and the memories and give folks a chance around here. So thank you. I also want to thank the mayor for dedicating the brewery across the way from me. I appreciate that. Then we had, let's see, who else spoke here? Paul Zajka. My
You got it, big guy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's enough about him. So Paul took over from my brother. He's always been my brother, Paul, but he took over from my brother in that everything I ever did was perfect in his eyes. I could probably, it's a little distasteful, but I could probably defecate on Warren Street and he'd enter it in an art exhibit. So, thanks. That's enough of that. And, Shane, poor Shane. Shane has put in countless hours as police commissioner. We're lucky to have him as a member of HPD that understands and connects with our guys. That's to be admired. He does it for no pay. And it's important to our department. I want to lastly speak of my department, our department. There's been some talk here about change to the department or transformation of the department. I truly believe that transformation was actually within me. I've learned more from them than I have taught. When I arrived here as an outsider, I was not rejected, but welcomed. The officers were patient with my learning curve. I quickly learned for the most part that HPD, which is a municipal department, is vastly different than the troopers. Through the last 10 years, I think together we developed a team mentality with other law enforcement partners, and this is what you people, our citizens, expect and deserve. The best, most professional approach to policing for our city. I was blessed to have the leadership within the state police, Cat Rohde, Eric Barnes, now Ben Walsh, all of them, and the county sheriff, Dave Bartlett, and Dave Kraft. We formed a great team, and we worked together because we were of the same mind. So thank you for that. I can stand here today as sincere as a man can be and tell you that we have a fine department comprised of some of the most patient and honest young people you would ever want to meet. In lockstep with recent rhetoric about defunding or eliminating police, folks are quick to forget that there's actually some bad people out there. It's a truth that extends through the history of man. They will harm you, they'll take your things, they'll poison you when you're most vulnerable. These brave officers here are all that stands between you and them, and please do not forget them. There'd be no stores, there'd be no shops, there'd be no parades without the police. And it might seem like a paradox, but obedience to the law is liberty. I urge our citizens to take measure and remain supportive of our officers, and for that matter, all the people that make this city work. Not just our elected officials, but our very great DPW workers, code enforcement, Craig's over there, our professional Greenport Rescue Squad, our parking enforcement guys, and probably the best fire department anywhere. This is it. I leave after a long trail. I keep my head up because I feel I've done the best that I could. It's a great honor and privilege to serve your fellow man. For the rest of my days, I'll remember my experiences in law enforcement. I thank God Almighty, who blessed me with the love of my family and my friends. They gave me a conscience, God gave me a conscience and a spirit and the health to make it through all this. I've enjoyed the best of both worlds. My soul is with the troopers and will be, and my heart will always be with this department. So thank you all. God bless you all. Thanks for tolerating me.
Can I have the APD guys come up here, please? APD members come up front.
If you're gonna sing a song, I just make it.
You guys.
That's a good idea.
Before and after. With hair, without hair. Hey, Mr. Lee. Hi.
Hold it, Ed.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hold
you.
it, Ed. Hold it, Ed.
Thanks, Lance.
Hold it, Ed. Hold it, Ed. Oh my God. Wait a minute.
Real professional, Lance.
I gotta take a pill. I gotta take a pill. Hold it. Hold on. Here we go. On the count of 7. Good. Thank you all.